Hello everyone, welcome. This is Nick from Top-Notch Sports, and today we got a lot to discuss. Let's hop right into this thing.
180. 180 set.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is Nick from Top-Notch Sports. Today we're going over the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs salary review and offseason moves for 2023. In 2022, head coach Andy Reid and quarterback Patrick Mahomes executed the playoffs to perfection, and they were ultimately crowned Super Bowl 57 champions, winning 2 Super Bowls in the last, 3, 4 seasons? And not only winning 2 Super Bowls, but appearing in 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls for the AFC. This is a true dynasty. This is a legitimate thing that's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sell out to win a single Super Bowl. You had the Los Angeles Rams sell out to win a single Super Bowl. And how are those teams doing now? This Kansas City Chiefs team did not sell out for a Super Bowl. They built a dynasty the way it's supposed to be built. And I have nothing but respect for a team like this. Again, the Chiefs went 14-3 in 2022, winning the Super Bowl. And now they got their eyes set on the 2023 season. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a mock draft, mock free agency, mock offseason of the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to predict what we think they're going to do. Now, we got to say this. When we started this series a month and a half ago, we used the cap space at that time. Therefore, the numbers have been officially determined. And these numbers are inflated anywhere from $10 to $15 million. But that does not mean it's a bad thing. That doesn't mean this video is going to be way off, because we don't do things that owners and GMs can do. We can't restructure contracts on this video, nor do we, convert, contracts to signing bonuses in this video. So if anything, it's a good thing we inflated the numbers. And it's not a huge inflation. It's a reasonable inflation of the projections according to multiple sources at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hop right into this thing. All right, here are our expected starters for the 2023 season that are currently under contract. In the top left corner of the screen, you see that we had you guys projected at $23.8 million. Right now, after you sign all people, the future reserves and et cetera, which none of those guys are going to mean anything really long-term wise, you guys are really sitting at around probably about $500,000. The truth is, after you restructure contracts, after you cut a few players, after you, convert money to signing bonuses, what the Chiefs do every single season, you guys are going to have right around $20 million. So we're not far off at all. The guys in green on here are guys that if you cut them, you save money. The guys in red, you cut them, you lose money. Okay, so quick example, if you cut someone like Frank Clark, you save $13.4 million. If you cut someone like Joe Tooney, which you would never do, you will lose $12.7 million. So you never cut nobody in red. But you might consider cutting some guys in green, especially if you think they're not worth what their price tag is. Okay, so we look at this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, who you guys might move on from. Again, there's some names out here. I mean, you just look at it here, big names, big money. You got Frank Clark, 13.4. Right? You got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, $7 million. You have someone even like Travis Kelce, 7.2. Now, you're not going to cut Kelce, but you might look to even restructure someone like him, right? Maybe you lower him down, try to push $3.5 million to a signing bonus or something like that to save money. So there's all kinds of things that this team can do. So let me know what you guys think. We're going to the next slide now, our notable losses. Here are our notable losses. Okay, these are the guys that are currently needing contract extensions to be on the team next year. Now, before we do anything, we're going to look at percent of snaps played. This number is calculated by the percent of snaps a player played when they're actively on the game day roster. So what's not being accounted for here? If a player was on the IR for 16 of the 17 games this year and played one game, but played 100% of the snaps, unfortunately for us and all of us here, it's going to show that they played 100% of the snaps. Okay, so there's a guy here that the numbers look high. That's why, because they don't count against them when they were on the IR. They only counted against them if they could play, and they did not play because they were either benched or et cetera, et cetera. So let's hop into this now. First things first, we got offensive tackle. Orlando Brown is expected to count as a 5-year, $112.1 million deal, and he played 99% of the snaps. Next thing, wide receiver Mecole Hardman is expected to count as a 4-year, $44.1 million deal. He played 53% of the snaps. Next guy, wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, expected contract is a 3-year, $29.1 million deal. He plays 70% of the snaps. Next guy, safety Juan Thornhill, expected contract is a 2-year, $9.6 million deal. He played 95% of the snaps. And last but not least, Derek Nottie, expected contract is a 2-year, $6.4 million deal. And last but not least, he played 23% of the snaps. Now, typically when the regime stays the same and they play well during, their tenure there, the team will look to try to bring them back. The only moving piece for this team is that Eric Bieniemy has officially went to the Washington Commanders. Therefore, maybe some guys on the offense of the ball that he liked specifically might not be brought back. Okay, but still you got Andy Reid. So the regime isn't changing. Andy Reid has been in charge the entire time. Okay, he knows who he wants. So again, if someone played well and they played a high percent of snaps, they might try to bring some of these guys back if they have the same regime, which they do, and they got the cap space, which the Chiefs kind of do and kind of don't. So we're going to talk about that in a second. So now let's look at our potential targets. Here are our potential targets. Okay, so we got estimated around $23.8 million after restructures and converting, contracts to signing bonuses. So we have two cuts. We got you cutting Frank Clark for $13.4 million, and we got you cutting Marquez Valdes-Scantling, which saves you $7 million, which puts you at $44.2 million in cap space. Wow, that's quite a bit, isn't it? That's pretty dang good. All right, now what are we going to do? Well, estimated signings. Wide receiver, we're going to re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster to a 3-year, $29.1 million deal, which is a $9.7 million cap hit. We're going to re-sign Juan Thornhill to a 2-year, $9.6 million deal, which is a $48.8 million cap hit. Next thing, we're going to re-sign Derek Nottie to a 2-year, $6.4 million deal, which is a $3.2 million cap hit. And now we're going to make some signings. We're going to sign offensive tackle Andre Dillard to a 3-year, $25.5 million deal, which is an $8.5 million cap hit. And last but not least, we're going to go out and sign edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney to a 2-year, $19 million deal, which is a $9.5 million cap hit, which turns out to be in $35.7 million in cost, which means you have $8.5 million rolling over until next year that you can save for next year, or maybe even go out and sign another free agent. We just don't feel like you need to. Save that money, roll it over to next year so you have money to use next year. All right, so now we got to look at our needs. Well, what did we do? Well, wide receiver, we had a need. Well, we're going to re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster to fill in that need. Okay, what else are we going to do? Well, we're going to re-sign defensive tackle Derek Nottie, so that fills in that need. And last but not least, our safety need, we're going to re-sign Juan Thornhill. So a lot right now, we are filling in a lot of our needs. Now, what are we going to do in the draft? Well, in the first round, we're going to draft offensive tackle Anton Harrison. In the second round, we're going to draft edge rusher Derek Hall. In the third round, we're going to draft safety Rashad Torrance. What does that do? Well, in the offensive tackle position, we're going to fill in all other offensive tackle position by drafting Anton Harrison, okay, to be our future guy, our young guy, okay, to be on this team for years and years and years to come. In the second round, we're drafting edge rusher Derek Hall. Again, you bring in Clowney on a 2-year deal, nice cheap 2-year deal. Try to chase that Super Bowl ring again. He wants to win one. Bring him in, see what he can do. You also bring in Derek Hall for the future. And last but not least, you're going to re-sign Juan Thornhill for that safety position, but you're also bringing another young guy, Rashad Torrance. I know you also got Brian Cook last year. I like him a lot. I do. But it's not bad to keep stockpiling guys for your future, especially if one guy doesn't pan out. Okay, so what do we got here? We fill in every need. There really is no other need for this team, right? You guys might be nitpicking and say, this, that. You got a 4th, a 5th, a 6th round pick yet. You got a lot of capital still to spend in the later rounds. Maybe you pick up another guy or two that can possibly fight for a starting job. But this is what we got. So now let's look at our 2023 expected lineup. Here's our 2023 expected lineup. As you see in the top left corner of your screen, you got $8.5 million rolling over until the 2023 season. Okay, so now what, Nick? What are you trying to say? Well, here's what we got. We got yellow, blue, green, orange. You see no yellow. That's a great sign. Yellow's considered a placeholders. Those are the guys that we feel like you guys can replace, okay? A guy that, someone should be competing with them for the starting job. We truly don't feel like you have a guy on this roster right now that you got to, replace immediately, okay? We really don't. So now what? Okay. What's orange? Orange is a re-sign. Okay. We're re-signing Juju Smith-Schuster. We're re-signing Derek Nottie. And we're re-signing Juan Thornhill. Green are guys that we're going out and signing. We're going to sign edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney. We're going to sign Andre Dillard to play left tackle for us. And last but not least, in light blue, that's our draft picks. We're going to go out. We're going to draft Anton Harrison to play right tackle. We're going to draft Derek Hall to be a rotational edge rusher for us. And we're going to draft Rashad Torrance to be, another rotational safety for us, okay? So now, with all that being said, Nick, what else? What's your prediction here? Well, let's look at this team, okay? We got a nice young offensive line. Love Creed Humphrey. Love Trey Smith. I thought these two were absolute steals in the draft. Go back, watch my scouting reports. Go back, watch my grading on Instagram. You can go back and just look at my grades I gave for those two picks. Phenomenal. Okay. You look at running back, Isaiah Pacheco. I didn't know who Isaiah Pacheco was, but once I found out who he was, I absolutely love this. This gave me some, flashbacks of Kareem Hunt a little bit. Just an explosive guy that you guys got pretty late, and I got him in Dynasty. I love that. I'll be honest with you. Okay. You look at these receivers here. Kadarius Toney, I cannot believe the Giants didn't really give him a shot. This guy can be electric. Will he ever be a 1A? I don't think so. But let me tell you something. He is such a playmaker. You got to get him the ball. Juju Smith-Schuster is a phenomenal slot guy, okay, for you guys. Is he a number 1A? No. But he's a great slot guy. And then you got Sky Moore that can stretch the defense vertically. Okay, so what else can you really ask for? Maybe you're bringing a guy in the 4th round, 5th round, et cetera, et cetera. And then I believe you guys still have Justin Watson under contract. You guys got to let me know if I'm wrong. But again, a nice receiving core. Travis Kelce, I mean, this guy, first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't even got to talk about him. But the line, real young line. I mean, this is your line. The only old guy here is Joe Tooney, right? Andre Dillard's what, maybe 27, maybe, if I had to guess off the top of my head. Let me just fact check myself real fast while I'm talking. Andre Dillard, 27 years old. Okay. Anton Harrison, rookie. Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey just got drafted, a year or two ago? So real young offensive line, and all of them have been looking really good. On the defensive side of the ball, I love George Karlaftis. I thought that was a phenomenal draft pick. I think he'll only get better. I compared him to people like Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard from the Bengals. I think that he's very similar to those plays out. A hustler, that's going to try to get after it. I don't think he's going to be one of these elite guys, but a guy that can just be solid for years to come. We saw what Nick Bolton was able to do. I mean, Nick Bolton was, I think I had him ranked around my 6th or 7th ranked linebacker that year. Well, clearly he's turning out to be one of the best. But again, under Steve Spagnuolo, everybody looks phenomenal. Let's be honest. Steve Spagnuolo might go down as one of the greatest defensive coaches ever in the history of football. If you get put on this team, there's a good shot you succeed. And Leo Chanel, I know you guys drafted him last year. Chris Jones will lock up the middle. You bring back Derek Nottie. Jadeveon Clowney, just a nice veteran that you bring in here. I know he hasn't been super productive throughout his career, but still just a nice piece. He's not really super expensive. I think he said, $9.5 million a year? That's not much. I mean, you're paying Frank Clark a hell of a lot, so might as well get Clowney on a little bit of a cheaper deal. Derek Hall, you bring him in, again, another rookie piece. Juan Thornhill, Rashad Torrance, and Justin Reid to lock down that safety position. And last but not least, L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie. McDuffie, again, real young guy, rookie from this year, looked pretty dang decent. Overall, what did we do in this video? We made a bunch of signings. We did a bunch of re-signings. We didn't go out and, throw a haymaker and try to bring back Orlando Brown because then we would be broke. We went out, we signed cheaper guys that can play their role. And I feel like so many teams get caught up and try to bring that one superstar. One superstar won't win you a team. But getting guys on cheaper deals that are all pretty dang good, that can just play their role, is how you win a championship. And that's what the Chiefs have been able to do year in and year out. Ladies and gentlemen, with this team, with this roster, with Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid being your coach, even though you lose Eric Bieniemy, we'll have to wait and see who they bring in. This team is not slowing down. I didn't think they were really going to slow down last year. I thought the AFC West was going to get tougher. But again, everyone's like, they lost Tyreek Hill. Well, look, Pat Mahomes can get it done 2 ways. He can play the dink and dunk game, or he can play the vertical game. And I know you lost your real vertical threat in Tyreek Hill, but you still got some great weapons. You cannot cover Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster underneath. If you double team one, the other one's going to get open. And then you add Kadarius Toney for, jet sweeps and little screen passes and slants and double moves. Phenomenal. And then you got Sky Moore, who can do the same exact stuff. And then a nice, fast, quick playmaker in Isaiah Pacheco. So this team is solid. My prediction for the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs, after going 14-3 in the 2022 season and ultimately beating the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowl 57, I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2023 season will finish first in the AFC West, finish with a record of 12-5, make the playoffs, and go back and trying to make a statement again in the AFC playoffs. There's a good shot we see this team in the Super Bowl again, even without Eric Bieniemy. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to hear your feedback. Until next time, we'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are Built Better.